green flag is waved at the back. There's some smoke or fluid or something possibly coming out of Greg and Thrusten's car on row 2 of the grid. But the race gets underway now, and 15 minutes ahead of us. John Village certainly looks like he's going to be the man to beat today in the Village V2. But the car's heading down towards the right-hander at Clervaux corner for the first time. We're looking there at the number 67 car of Paul Mason in the Whippet, and he's being challenged already by number 31 there, which is Greg Catton in that Dyson Special. And a spin for Greg and Thrusten, and it looks like he may have spun on his own fluid possibly there, Josh.
Yeah, no, that car was smoking or steaming or whatever it was on the grid there, and that all kind of adds up a little bit with a bit of fluid as well on the race circuit. So we'll see what happens there. It was damp in qualifying this morning, and Tim Roebuck qualified in Austin 7 Special so well as he tends to do in the damp, but now he's lost second place to the fast starting Paul Mason. So, is that Slatter up into 4th or 5th already, Ian?
Yeah, so good start from Travis Slatter. He's usually there at the sharp end, isn't he? But was possibly just a little bit late arriving for qualifying this morning, maybe. But he's been able to join from the back of the grid. So it looks like it's actually the Dyson up into second place, isn't it, of Greg Catton behind John Village. Then it looks like it's the Paul Mason car in third position, Travis Lasser in fourth as they make their way through the Jim Clark S's and head off up towards Croft and Sunny for the first time. And it looks like we're going to get a safety car at the end of this opening lap of the race, Josh.
Yes, and the car that we saw spin, Greg and Thrusten, that car has marshals attending to it. I'm not sure there. We saw a car that might have been about to pull off. We'll check on that in a moment.
There's Thrusten's car, certainly. That's
but back into second is Tim Roebuck. There's another car.
Yes. And it is another car, yes.
Charlie Plain Jones?
Charlie Plain Jones, yes, that's off there, I think.
Yeah, Travis Latter's... No, he's still there in fourth. Oh, so it's... so Paul Mason did get second from Tim Roebuck, but I think Tim Roebuck regained second before the safety car was called, and actually both Mason and Slatter have dropped back, haven't they, from when we saw them at Tower?
Yes, they have, so we're not quite sure what's gone on there, but the race continuing. So it is John Village leading at the end of lap one, the Gap Academic there, of course, with the safety car out and a couple of cars having already failed to make it around the first lap, unfortunately. Hopefully they will be back out for the second race towards the end of the day. So there's Village, there's Roebuck, and there's Greg Catton. That's the car of Greg and Thrusten there, number one, the Rawson Special. One of the cars powered by the 750cc engine in Class C. Also, you have the Reliant engined 850cc engined cars within that class as well. That's Paul Mason, number 67 in the Whippet, and behind him there is Richard Verheyden in the Austin Ulster Badfrog.
Yeah, Paul Mason has been racing in this series and 750 Trophy, as it was known before, for about 20 years now. So a very experienced driver from Milton Keynes in this self-built car that runs the Reliant 850cc engine. Most cars run either the 850 or 750cc engine, depending which era really the cars originally come from. In this series, generally for the early 750 Formula cars, but also allows in Austin 7s. As you can see, it's very rare to get a safety car in these type of races, and I think the race is about to restart in. With John Village long way clear by the time they get to the green flag.
Yeah, indeed. So we do get a green flag again with that car having been made clear. There is the 31 car in third place, which we'll pick up on a little bit more in a moment now the race has got back underway. But it is John Village then that has made a good restart here and is building a lead already with that car in third place of Greg Catton, the Dyson, chasing after the Austin 7 of Timothy Roebuck. He's in the supercharged Austin 7 class there. And there is the Dyson in third place, which is just about to come into shot. There it is for Greg, who's 65 years of age, from Bury St Edmunds. This car built back in 1964 that he is racing. Got a Ford Anglia 1200 engine, and it's been prepared by Greg with his race mechanic Paul Ellis, and he has gone through to second place at Tower Corner.
There were slippery surface flags out there, Ian, so I wonder if not just at the start of the race, Greg and Fluston's car might have been leaking some fluid, but perhaps a bit around the circuit as well, and that's why we saw the order change a bit before the safety car came out. So perhaps the track not in perfect conditions. It was a spread out restart to say the least. So there's a big goal gap from Tim Roebuck, who's there in third place. There's Tim in the Austin 7 Special, who's so quick in this car from the 1930s. A long way clear of the rest of the field.
Yeah, indeed. So that's on screen now. Tim Roebuck, James Miles, the other car in the supercharged class, car number 11, running in 7th place at the moment. But you can see there the gap from 3rd to 4th. We've still not even got the 4th place car into shot at the moment, and that may well be, is going to be Paul Mason or Trevor Slatter that appears there. That's the question. Meanwhile, John Village, you can see, is coming up and over the line to complete another lap. And then we've got in 2nd place now Greg Catton and Timothy Roebuck in 3rd place. That's James Miles that we just saw going through the shot there briefly. They were down at the Jim Clark S's.
Yes, that's right. John Village's first flying lap was a 1 minute 50.05, which is, I think, 12 seconds or so quicker than he did in qualifying this morning. Battle for second continues as Tim Roebuck's not letting Greg Catton get away, although on the last lap Catton was a couple of seconds quicker. There's a slippery surface flag and possibly, is that some trail of fluid on the road there as well. This battle, though, continues a little bit further down the order into the complex here. Meanwhile, the battle for second is down at Tower between Catton and Roebuck. They turn out of Tower for the 4th time in this 15-minute race.
Yeah, that battle that's just going up across the line now is for 7th, 8th and 9th position. There you can see it on screen. It involves James Miles, Ben Bolt and Peter Marsh, so a couple of Austin 7s in 2 different classes, sandwiching the Class C car, the Centaur Mark 14 of Ben Bolt, the car that's been racing in historic 750 formula for quite a number of years now.
And James Miles there in the 1936 Austin 7 Monoposto that has the 750 side valve supercharged engine that James rebuilt last year. Experienced driver in Vintage Sports Car Club and historic 750 Formula events from West Sussex, but he's under lots of pressure there from Ben Bolt as they turn their way out of the chicane with Peter Marsh in the Paxton Special Austin 7 just behind.
The battle for second is still raging on, by the way. That's just about to come past to complete lap 4 of the race with just under 7 minutes, or just over 7 minutes left to go. 7 minutes is just less than half race distance remaining. And it's Greg Catton there in the number 31 car, Timothy Roebuck in number 18.
Yes, although the Ford Anglia engine in that car is of larger capacity, I don't think it's any more powerful. If anything, it's less powerful than some of the other cars.
It's producing about 70 brake horsepower at the flywheel, Greg reckons. He saw this car advertised on eBay actually during 2021. He's completely rebuilt it using standard engine components, keeping as close to period specification as possible. The car was one of 5 originally made by the Eccleston brothers from Stoke-on-Trent, which I presume is the Eccleston brothers that we also saw racing in Formula 4 20 years ago. Yes, the car originally was an 1172 Formula car.
Don't see many of those racing, do you?
No, we don't. There's Tom Emden. He's in number 9. And the 39-year-old IT support analyst, Alice Tromlis, racing for 11 years now, but being caught by some of the quicker cars now.
Battle for 7th is very much on out the book's window as the on-screen battle is for 2nd place. So there are a couple of battles. There's the battle for 7th place, side by side, as Ben Bolt tries to get himself up alongside James Miles, but the supercharged car of Miles has more straight line speed and is therefore back ahead by the time they get down towards Clairvaux, but then through the corners the later car might well be able to re-challenge in.
Yeah, possibly so. Intriguing little scrap this, and it's interesting that we have the different classes all racing together and cars different around different parts of the lap. It's a shame that we don't have a bigger grid, possibly. if historic 750 Formula visits again, more drivers will be encouraged by the competitors that have made it here this weekend to attend, because I think it is a good fun circuit. Drivers generally enjoy driving Croft. Lots of interesting challenges.
John Village about to lap this group of cars. John, who started racing a car like this 50 years ago or so, rebuilt this car a couple of years ago, or a copy of his original car, isn't it? The car with the Coventry Climax engine. You see John Village there working his way through, who then went on to be European Formula Ford champion and had a quick go in Formula 3 before returning to Formula Ford when he won the Esso Championship in Britain, and then after that was a very, very successful team boss. Yeah,
up to and including A1 GP teams that he ran, with success in all of the classes, Formula Ford and Formula Vauxhall, Formula etc.
All those one-make single-seater formulas that no longer exist in the UK, or elsewhere mainly.
So we've now got the two Austin 7s together here, James Miles and Peter Marsh, because Ben Bowles has got past and he's pulled away from them now, hasn't he? In spite of the fact that he's just been lapped by the race leader John Village.
You sometimes see James Miles a little bit further up the order than this, don't we? But he's involved in that battle with Peter Marsh, who's not a name I'm particularly familiar with. So I'm not sure if Peter's raced this car before.
Second and third have changed around there, haven't they? We just saw on screen, and here they are now. Timothy, although about to come into shot behind the number 8 car. The next car through, if we pick that up, is going to be Timothy Roebuck now, because he's back into second place ahead of Greg Catton now. So second and third have changed around on that lap. That's lap 6 that has just been completed. There they are on screen now. You can see Roebuck in the supercharged Austin 7 is ahead of Greg Catton. There's just over 3 minutes to go.
So a couple of laps, I think. So it'll be an 8-lap race this. Fastest lap with John Village, a 1 minute 48.79. These two have lapped in the 52s. Last year, John Village won 8 of the 10 standard scratch races in historic 750 Formula. I think again we'll see a couple of handicap races over the course of the 2023 season, which tends to be really popular with these drivers. It gives everybody a chance to have an overall victory. So there goes the Dyson, Greg Catton. Still a bit slower than the Miss Trevor Slatter, isn't he? Because obviously he was caught out on the restart a little bit, but I don't think he had the pace to challenge these two anyway. But he's pulled a long way clear, I think, of Paul Mason in the Whippet. And then Richard Verheyden, not far back there in 6th position, who's the first of the non-supercharged Austin 7s there in 6th position in the Bad Frog Austin Ulster.
Well, let's see. Greg Catton's not given up on second place here, has he? He's got a second win. He must have made a mistake on the previous lap, I think, but he's now right with Timothy Roebuck again. They're coming up to lap the car of Ben Bolts as well, so possibly this might present an opportunity for the Dyson to make a move. They are heading around the hairpin now for what I think will be the penultimate time. Over the line they go, and I'm not sure Catton's really been able to capitalise on the back marker there. So he's going to have to do it through his own initiative, I would think. Just about a minute and a half of the race left to go. John Village already 17 seconds up the road from the second and third place battle that we're watching on screen now. Just turning its way through Hawthorns and towards the chicane. And then on to the back straight, past the old pit lane here at Croft, and on towards the tower, or the left-hand curve, or the right-hander at tower, heading into the braking area for that now, turning their way around that right-hander, and it's the number 31 car there, which is chasing Timothy Roebuck down in the ex-John Miles Austin 7.
Yeah, you said about how he'd sort of come back to Timothy Roebuck. He did do a 151, didn't he, on the last lap? Catton, so quicker than we've seen Roebuck go all race long. There's the leader in more traffic, and has that been a change for 5th? there. Richard Verheyden in 6 has got past Paul Mason in 67. So Richard Verheyden, the first of the Class A cars, is actually going to place overall, getting past Paul Mason there. And they're both being lapped by John Village, who will see the checkered flag. Or at least he should
No,
do.
last lap board he gets because I think. So he's going to get one more lap of this race. He must have just got across the line before the 15 minutes were up. It would have been a very close run thing, certainly, which way that was going to go. But he's now on to his last lap.
Last time John Village raced here, track would have been quite different, wouldn't it, back in the 1970s?
It would, a more triangular layout, so the cars would have just gone a little bit further up the road at Sunny and then turned right down what is now the paddock 3, basically rejoining the circuit where Clairvaux is. But, essentially it would have been a triangular layout.
Interesting to hear what he thinks of the new layout, although in a very different type of car, I guess, the Formula Fords that he would have raced here.
There he goes. Good view that through the Jim Clark S's. There he is heading up towards Croft now, and he's really continuing as he started or went on last season, isn't he? With those 8 scratch race victories that he had. Christian Pedersen with a couple of scratch races during the course of last year. We'll perhaps see him during the course of 2023. But here comes John Village now heading into the complex for the final time.
Yep, that's right, and it'll be interesting to see how John has enjoyed this because although he's had cars to lap, he's not really had any other cars around him too much. Not hugely further ahead of the rest, 18 seconds, but just enough for not to be involved in the battle. But as Ian was saying, continuing on the form from last year for John Village as he takes the checkered flag to win the first Raceparts historic 750 Formula Series race of the season.
Yeah, he gets the checkered flag at the end of 9 laps then, and he's a long way clear of second.
Which has changed on the last lap.
It has indeed, so Greg Catton is going to be that comes across the line to take second place then from Timothy Roebuck. That's interesting because we do think maybe there was an extra lap squeezed out there. So Timothy Roebuck, number 18, third across the line at any rate, and then it's a long gap back to Trevor Slatter, I think, who's going to be in 4th position. There's something like 50 seconds between 3rd and 4th. So it's about half a lap.
Paul Mason pulled off at the end, just after the flag.
Yes.
And he took 6th position after losing the position on that last lap or last couple of laps to Richard Verheyden, but his pace had dropped off. So Paul Mason's car perhaps all not that well.
Here's Slatter now. He's coming up to the line to take 4th position, number 72. And then we've got the 2 Austin 7s nose to tail then, and they are going to come through, and it is going to be James Miles that finishes ahead of the other, and they are in just waiting for the time screen to update, I think.
Half a second was the gap.
Yeah.
Peter Marsh did his best lap on the last lap.
He did. Anyway, so that was a good race for the historic 750 Formula Series. They're back out again at the end of today's programme. Just the 2 races for them during the course of this weekend.
A few of the drivers are going to be busy, aren't they, trying to solve the issues?
Yes, so we saw Paul Mason stop, and also on the opening lap we lost Regan Fuston and Charlie Plain-Jones, didn't we, in the 22 car.
I expect the paddock will get together, won't they, to try and get those cars out if at all possible.
Let's take a look at the results then at the end of that historic 750 Formula race. John Village it was that took the win by something like 17 seconds in car 29 from 31 Greg Catt in 2nd place. 3rd went the way of number 18 Timothy Roebuck, who won his class. 4th was number 72 Trevor Slatter from the back of the grid. 5th was number 6 Richard Verheyden, who was a lap down in 5th. 6th was 67 Paul Mason. 7th was number 13 Ben Bolt. 8th was number 11 James Miles. 9th was number 8 Peter Marsh, and Tom Emden number 9 rounded up the top 10. I should say Richard Verheyden won the normally aspirated Austin 7 class as well. Reminder that there's still lots more racing to come here this afternoon at Croft. Next up, we've got the Aim Shop Mazda 7 Championship. We've also got the Raceparts Sports Specials, the Tagiwa Road Sports Series, the Absolute Alignment Sports 1000, the 5 Club Racing MX5 Cup, before we go back to the Tagiwa Type R Trophy and the Raceparts Historic 750 Formula Series for their second races of the weekend. We'll also have Club Enduro racing tomorrow, and if you would like to, you can download the digital race programme from the 750 Motor Club website by going to 750mc.co.uk, 750mc.co.uk. You'll see the banner there, and be able to download the programme with the full timetable, entry list and so forth, to help you enjoy the full weekend racing at Croft even more than you already are doing. We will be back shortly with the Mazda 7s, but I can see that down in pit lane, Chris Stevens is just getting drivers out of their cars, and he is indeed ready to talk to them.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
So the first historic 750 Formula Series race of the day goes to John Village. John, not bad for somebody who's not raced here since the 70s.
Well, you soon learn, don't you? And I've been learning for 50 years, so I should do it.
So what do you think of the new Croft layout then, new to you?
To the what, sorry?
The Croft layout. Very different since you last raced here.
Yeah, Croft's brilliant. You know, you've got a bit of everything. Slow, fast, flat out corners. Very good.
And how often will we be seeing you out this season? Are you doing the full year?
Well, unfortunately, one clashes with the Grand Prix, so I'll be at that, unfortunately. But I'll do the majority.
Well, we'll certainly miss you for that round. But in the meantime, congratulations. A great win there. The A-Class winner, Richard Verheiden. Hello. Oh, sorry, Richard. Yep. Great to see you up on the class win. How was it out there?
It was less slippery than this morning in practice, so lots of fun. Spent the winter fettling in the car, so nice to have some time on the track. Really good.
Obviously, I think Charlie Plain Jones had a few dramas that probably helped you out a little bit. But
preferred to have beaten him on the track rather than with him sitting in the grass. So shame.
Obviously, you guys will get another chance at it later this afternoon, so you'll be battling again.
Gets his car together, we should be battling on track. That's much more fun.
All right, awesome. We look forward to seeing that. Right. So let's go and talk to the AS class winner, Tim Roebuck, who's come down to visit and congratulate John Village. Tim, that was a great battle you had for second place overall there as well.
It was a really good battle. It was good fun actually. Yeah, and it was really difficult trying to keep him behind me, and he just came past me on the last lap.
Yeah, obviously visually very different to anything else in the championship. Greg's car. So what's it like battling with him?
Actually, it was surprisingly even. He's just about got the legs on me on the straight. He's got obviously a much smaller frontal area than I've got, but I was catching up with him in the braking zones and going into the corners. So yeah, we had a really good battle.
More of the same later?
Hopefully, but at the moment I can't find third gear, so we'll see. We'll see whether I get out for the second race.
Okay, well we hope you find it. Good luck with that. Ian, Josh, let's go back up to you.